A kitten heard a baby cry and did the most heroic thing ever. Not all heroes wear capes, some wear collars and have a fluffy tail and sharp claws. When this cat heard a baby cry, she did the most heroic thing ever. Want to know what happened? So, keep watching.
Before we begin, make sure you smash that like button, subscribe to our channel, and click the notification bell for more amazing videos.
This story took place in 2019 in Bogota, capital of Colombia. One morning, Diana Lorna Alvarez had put her son Samuel in his crib, but when she returned a few minutes later, she was surprised to see him crawling on the floor. Wondering how she'd done it, she decided to check out the security camera footage, but she wasn't prepared for what came next. Security footage showed one-year-old Samuel crawling on the floor. Nothing too dangerous, you might imagine, but when you find out that the room leads to this rundown staircase, situation seems a little more worrying. These steep staircases, 12 steps high, and a fall from that height might have horrible consequences, especially for such a small child. Fortunately, little Samuel was not alone in the room. Their cat Ghetto Bella was there with him just as that happened. And that was something Diana was certainly very grateful for. Take a look at what happened next. After playing for some time, we can observe the little boy slowly crawling towards the stairs. At one point, he even turns to look at Ghetto Bella. Then he continues his adventure. However, the cat is watching the boy's every move, and as soon as she realizes that the boy has gotten too close to the stairs, she springs in action. The cat runs towards the boy and quickly jumps on top of him. Cat doesn't let the boy pass and puts herself between the baby and the stairs. You can really tell that Ghetto Bella treats Samuel as if he were own kitten. She even tries to grab the boy by the neck. While this may seem a little painful, little Samuel doesn't seem too disturbed by it, and the boy just keeps playing with everything he comes across. Ghetto Bella still isn't settled, and for the next few seconds, she stands guard on the stairs until Samuel crawls back into the middle of the room. Finally, things got back to normal. As she watched the incredible footage, Diana could hardly believe her eyes, and after getting over the initial shock, she posted the video to Facebook. It didn't take long for the video to go viral. We're happy that everything worked out, and Samuel and Ghetto Bella probably have a long and prosperous friendship ahead of them. Masha the cat. This is Masha. In 2015, this long-haired tabby was lauded by locals as a hero, and after hearing her story, you'll find out why. Masha is a community cat who is taken care of by the locals. She's usually very laid back and friendly. So, when a local resident suddenly heard Masha meow loudly for minutes on end, she immediately knew something was up. Irina Labrova has lived in the residential block for many years, and she shares a special bond with Masha. She went out to look for the cat, and it was then that she made a shocking discovery. When I heard her meowing, I thought maybe she was hurt, Irina said. Normally she would have come up to me and greeted me. You can imagine my shock when I saw her lying in a box next to the baby. The baby was rushed to the hospital, and everyone tried to find out what had happened. The boy was well dressed with a little hat, and as he was found with extra diapers and some food, it soon became clear that he had been abandoned on purpose. Fortunately, he was in good health. Thanks to Masha, he was only abandoned for a few hours, and in those hours he hadn't been cold. You see, Masha was wandering the streets when she suddenly heard the boy cry, and while some of us might not immediately know what to do in a situation like this, the long-haired cat didn't hesitate for a second. She immediately accepted him as her own, and to keep the baby warm, she crawled into the box with him. Clearly her maternal instincts had taken over, and she wanted to protect the child, explained Irina. To get the attention of passers-by, Masha started meowing very loudly, and that's how Irina found out what was going on. Fluffy the cat. Babies aren't the only people cats are willing to rescue, and this 85-year-old man has proven that firsthand. A few weeks before the accident happened, Ron Williams had received a cat as a gift from one of his friends. He called him Fluffy, and the duo hit it off right from the start. During their first few weeks together, they developed a special bond. and Ron was happy to finally have someone to talk to every day. But little did he know that a few weeks later, his new friend would also save his life. Ron developed the cute habit of talking to Fluffy all the time, and he played with the cat too. Whenever he received calls on his cell phone, for example, he would say the same thing. "It's ringing." He didn't know the cat would notice, but it ended up saving his life. One unfortunate day, Ron slipped and fell in the shower. His arm was trapped that he couldn't move. Hours passed, and all he could do was lie in agony on the floor. His phone was in the bathroom with him, but it was on the counter and out of reach. Ron hoped and prayed that someone would find him before it was too late. But since he lived alone, the chance of that happening was slim. Fortunately, however, there was someone in the house with him, Fluffy the cat. At first, the cat just kept him company, and suddenly Ron had an idea. Perhaps Fluffy learned a thing or two from all their conversations. "I said, 'It's ringing, Fluffy. You're my only hope,'" Ron called tearfully. Would Fluffy understand what he meant? Ron repeated the phrase a few times, "It's ringing," and when he felt something hit his hand 5 minutes later, he couldn't believe his eyes. Fluffy brought the phone to him up. Up until that moment, Ron had been lying on the floor for 16 hours. He was quickly rushed to the hospital, and to everyone's relief, everything seems to have turned out well. Ron was left with some pain, swelling, and bruises, but thinking about the worst that could have happened, he can definitely consider himself lucky. Gizmo the cat. It looks like this cat wanted to take her rescue mission to another level, and instead of saving one person, she saved a family of 5. Gizmo the cat is only 1 year old, but she may have given up one of her 9 leaves to save her owners. Ron Perkins was sleeping on the couch when Gizmo started desperately trying to wake him up. Gizmo had her front paws on the cushion and continued to meow. She didn't stop until Ron opened his eyes. And when he finally woke up, he realized that the entire house was filled with smoke. Ron quickly ran into the kitchen and saw that an oven mitt had caught fire. The object had recently been left in the toaster, and after noticing the smoke, Gizmo swung into action. Thanks to the cat's persistent meowing, the damage was minimal. Ron managed to put out the small fire before it spread, and the only thing that burned was the charred oven mitt. However, if he hadn't been woken up by Gizmo, the situation would likely have been very, very different. "This cat definitely saved my life," Ron stated in an interview. To show their gratitude, the family showered the heroine cat with treats. And to this day, Ron believes his heroic cat gave him one of her 9 leaves. See the dog. Okay, now we've seen all these brave cats. Let's give dog lovers a little joy too. Seed is a huge dog that ended up at the Ramapo-Bergen Animal Refuge in New Jersey in the United States. This kennel is a last resort shelter, and they only accept animals that really don't have anywhere to go. Seed was one of them. Due to her extreme discomfort with humans, she was rejected by several shelters, and it looked like she didn't have a promising future until someone finally decided to give her a chance. As soon as Brian Miller saw Seed, he knew he wanted to adopt her. "I thought, let me give this dog a chance because she's beautiful, and I think I can solve her problems," he declared. But while Brian thought he was saving Seed, little did he know that the roles would soon be reversed. Despite Seed's fear of humans, the two to quickly developed a special connection. But then something unexpected happened. In January 2021, 59-year-old Brian suffered a stroke at home. He tried to get out of bed, but as soon as he got up, he fell down again. His cell phone was out of reach, and he couldn't feel his left side, and he couldn't stand on his own. Concerned, the dog Seed immediately ran towards him. The dog got on top of him, and she continued licking and crying softly. That's when Brian got the idea to reach out with his right hand, to pet her and grab her collar. That's when Seed did what seemed to be impossible. To Brian's shock, Seed started dragging him across the room until he got to his phone. It took over 5 minutes, but it finally worked. And thanks to the help of Seed, Brian was able to get help from the emergency services. Later that night, doctors told Brian that seemed likely saved his life with her act of heroism. To recover from the stroke, Ryan had to spend a few weeks in treatment and rehabilitation. And when he was finally discharged, he was given a very excited visit. She immediately jumped on me and kissed my cheek. She dropped my glasses and my mask. And I thought, "I love this dog," he said. Which of these animals is your favorite? And you? Have you ever experienced something unusual with a pet? Share your stories in the comments. Who knows? Maybe we can tell your story in one of our upcoming videos. Hope you enjoy these touching stories, and until next time.